Have you ever experienced a moment so bizarre that it made you question reality itself? A strong sense of déjà vu, a dream that felt more real than life, or eerie coincidences that seemed too perfect to be chance? What if these strange occurrences weren't just tricks of the mind, but actual messages from another version of yourself? A parallel you from an alternate reality? Scientists and metaphysicists alike have explored the idea that multiple versions of you exist within a vast multiverse, each living a slightly different life based on the choices made. But what if the walls between these realities aren't as impenetrable as they seem? What if, through strange phenomena, these parallel selves are trying to reach you? In this video, we're diving deep into the world of parallel universes, exploring how science and metaphysics suggest that reality is far more complex than we perceive. More importantly, we'll uncover the hidden signs that your alternate self may be attempting to make contact. The multiverse, a reality beyond our own. Before we explore the signs of parallel communication, let's first understand the foundation of these ideas. What is a parallel universe? A parallel universe is a separate, self-contained reality that exists alongside our own, where life unfolds differently, based on different choices, circumstances, and events. In one universe, you might have chosen a completely different career, met different people, or even lived in a different country. Now, let's take it further. The multiverse theory. The multiverse theory suggests that there isn't just one parallel universe, but an infinite number of them. Every decision you make, no matter how small, creates a branching point, leading to another reality where a different version of you exists. This means that every what-if scenario you've ever imagined could actually be playing out in another dimension. But here's the mind-bending part. Some scientists propose that these alternate versions of you might be able to influence your thoughts, feelings, and even your reality. How? Through quantum mechanics. Quantum entanglement and consciousness. Quantum physics has demonstrated that particles can become entangled, meaning their states are interconnected regardless of the distance between them. If one particle is affected, the other instantly reflects the change, even if they are light years apart. Now, what if our consciousness worked the same way? If different versions of you are entangled across dimensions, it's possible that emotions, thoughts, or even choices could leak from one reality to another. This could explain why you sometimes have sudden urges, inexplicable memories, or powerful gut feelings steering you in a particular direction. Signs that your parallel self is reaching out. So, how do you know if your parallel self is trying to connect with you? Here are some of the most compelling signs. 1. Déjà vu. A glitch in reality. Have you ever been in a situation where you feel like you've lived the exact moment before? Déjà vu is one of the most common and puzzling phenomena experienced by people worldwide. Some scientists believe it's simply a brain processing error, but others suggest it could be much more. What if déjà vu occurs because another version of you has already lived that moment in an alternate reality, and you're briefly picking up on their experience? This would mean that, in some instances, your parallel self's timeline aligns with yours, creating a momentary ripple where the two realities overlap. 2. Vivid dreams of another life. Not all dreams are just fragments of imagination. Some feel so real, so vivid, that they linger in your mind long after you wake up. What if those incredibly detailed dreams, where you're a completely different person in a different place, making different choices, aren't just dreams at all. Many spiritual practitioners believe that during sleep, the conscious mind is free from the limitations of physical reality, allowing glimpses into alternate dimensions. These dreams could be memories from a parallel version of you, revealing their reality in brief, fleeting moments. 3. Synchronicities, meaningful coincidences. Carl Jung, the famous Swiss psychologist, coined the term synchronicity to describe meaningful coincidences that defy logic. Seeing repeating numbers like 1111, encountering the same symbol over and over, or experiencing an event that aligns perfectly with your thoughts. These could all be signals from another version of yourself. In parallel universe theory, these synchronistic moments might be the result of two realities converging, allowing your alternate self to influence your decisions or bring something important to your attention. Sudden memories or urges that don't make sense. Have you ever had an unexplainable urge to do something completely out of character? Or maybe a random memory pops into your head, one that doesn't seem to fit within your current life experience. These moments could be emotional echoes from a parallel self. If another version of you is experiencing something significant, you might feel residual emotions, desires, or even thoughts related to their situation. For example, if your parallel self recently made a major life change, such as quitting their job to travel, you might suddenly feel restless or inspired to make a change in your own life. 5. Reality glitches, when the world doesn't add up. Sometimes, reality itself seems to glitch. Objects might seem to move on their own, time feels distorted, or people remember events differently. These glitches in the matrix could be caused by slight shifts between parallel timelines. If an alternate version of you made a drastically different choice, the resulting ripple effect could subtly alter aspects of your current reality, creating moments of confusion or disorientation. Let me know in the comments, have you ever experienced an event that made you feel like another version of you was trying to communicate? If so, what happened? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-expanding content. If different versions of you exist in parallel universes, how might they communicate? Could they be sending signals in the form of thoughts, emotions, dreams, or synchronicities? Here are the most common signs that your parallel self might be trying to reach out. 1. Unexplained. Déjà vu, a glimpse into another reality. Have you ever had a moment where you felt like you had already lived through an experience before, even though you logically know you haven't? Déjà vu is one of the most commonly reported phenomena that hint at parallel realities. Some researchers believe déjà vu occurs when the brain mistakenly processes a new experience as a memory. But what if déjà vu isn't just a trick of the mind? One theory suggests that déjà vu might be a moment of alignment, a brief overlap between your current reality and another version of you in a parallel universe. In that moment, your consciousness may be catching a glimpse of a life your alternate self is living, explaining why the experience feels so eerily familiar. If you frequently experience déjà vu, pay attention to the details. What are you doing? Who are you with? It could be a sign that a parallel version of you is living out that same scenario in another dimension. 2. Vivid dreams of another life. Dreams have long been regarded as gateways to the subconscious mind. But what if they're also doorways to alternate realities? Have you ever dreamt of living a completely different life? One that feels so real, so detailed, that you wake up feeling like you've truly been there? For example, you dream of living in a city you've never visited, yet it feels like home. You recognize people in your dream that you've never met in waking life, yet you feel a deep connection to them. You experience skills or abilities in a dream that you don't possess in this life. Some believe these dreams might be memories or experiences from your parallel self, filtering into your consciousness. Your alternate self could be trying to send a message or share insight from their reality. 3. Synchronicities. Meaningful coincidences that aren't random. Have you ever noticed repeating patterns or events that seem too perfect to be mere coincidence? For example, you keep seeing the same numbers over and over, such as 1111, 333, or 555. You randomly think about an old friend, and then they suddenly call or text you. You repeatedly hear the same word, name, or phrase in unrelated situations within a short period. These types of synchronicities are often seen as messages from the universe, but they could also be signals from your parallel self. For instance, if you and your parallel self are facing a similar life challenge, the repeated symbols or numbers you encounter might be a form of resonance, where your two realities momentarily align. 4. Sudden shifts in mood or thoughts that don't feel like yours. Have you ever experienced an unexplainable change in mood or a sudden wave of emotions that doesn't seem connected to anything happening in your life? You wake up feeling incredibly inspired or motivated for no reason. You feel a deep sadness or nostalgia without any clear cause. You suddenly get a strong urge to make a decision, like moving to a new city or switching careers, even if you hadn't been considering it before. Some believe that these sudden emotional shifts or random thoughts could be influences from a parallel version of yourself. If your alternate self is going through something significant, an emotional breakthrough, a moment of realization, or a major life decision, you might subconsciously pick up on their energy through an unknown connection. Examples of reality glitches include objects moving or disappearing and then reappearing somewhere unexpected, people remembering events differently than you do, time feeling distorted, such as suddenly losing an hour, or feeling like time sped up or slowed down unnaturally. Some believe these anomalies could be evidence of shifts between parallel realities where timelines briefly overlap, or you unknowingly jump between different versions of your life. The ripple effect. How small changes can shift your reality. If we truly exist in a multiverse with countless parallel versions of ourselves, then every choice we make sends ripples through these alternate realities. Some believe that even the smallest decisions, taking a different route to work, choosing a different meal, or even deciding to send a message to an old friend, can subtly shift us into another version of reality where the consequences of that decision play out. But what if the opposite is also true? What if our parallel selves can influence us, nudging us toward a different choice based on what they have already experienced? Think about those moments in life when you were on the verge of a decision, and for some reason, an unexplainable gut feeling made you hesitate. Maybe you were about to walk into a store, but suddenly felt uneasy and turned around, only to later discover something significant would have happened if you had gone in. Or perhaps you decided to stay home on a night out and later heard that an unexpected event occurred. Could these instincts, these sudden shifts in feeling, actually be messages from a parallel self who has already lived through the consequences of that choice? There is a growing theory among those who study consciousness and quantum physics that suggests we are not just passively living in our own timeline, but rather we are constantly interacting with and subtly shifting between parallel versions of our reality. This could explain why some people experience sudden waves of nostalgia for moments they cannot recall, or why déjà vu feels eerily like we are retracing steps we have never actually taken. If our parallel selves are reaching out to us, it may not always be through direct messages, but rather through emotions, impulses, and the slight changes in intuition that guide us toward or away from certain paths. When parallel realities overlap, the glitch effect. While many believe that parallel selves exist in completely separate realities, some researchers and experiencers claim that, on rare occasions, these realities overlap, creating what is often referred to as a glitch in the matrix. These glitches manifest as strange and unexplainable experiences where time, memory, and even the physical world behave in ways that defy logic. Some people report objects disappearing and reappearing in locations they swear they already checked. Others describe entire conversations with people who later claim those discussions never happened. Then there are more extreme cases. Stories of individuals waking up in a slightly different version of their life, where small but significant details have changed. Street names are spelled differently, businesses exist that weren't there before, and personal belongings appear in unfamiliar places. One particularly chilling phenomenon that has gained attention is the missing time effect, where people experience a gap in their memory, as if they momentarily skipped a few minutes, hours, or even days without realizing it. This is not simply forgetting something. In many cases, people claim to have physically moved locations or experienced events that others insist never occurred. Could this be a sign that they temporarily shifted into another timeline, one where events played out differently? Or perhaps, in that moment, another version of them temporarily occupied their place? Some scientists dismiss these occurrences as lapses in perception or memory errors. However, others speculate that these glitches are evidence that parallel realities sometimes interact, allowing fragments of one dimension to momentarily bleed into another. If this is true, then it raises even bigger questions. Are we in control of which reality we remain in, or do we shift without even realizing it? And if our parallel selves can sometimes cross over, could that explain why we occasionally feel like different people at different times in our lives? The theory of merging timelines. Are we becoming one? A particularly mind-bending concept that has emerged in recent years is the idea that parallel versions of ourselves may be merging over time, leading to an eventual singular existence. This theory suggests that, rather than infinite versions of ourselves existing forever in separate timelines, some of these realities are collapsing into one, possibly due to choices we make, or because of a larger cosmic event that is beyond our current understanding. Meditation for interdimensional awareness. One of the most powerful tools for accessing parallel realities is meditation. When you quiet your mind, you create an open channel for insights, visions, and messages that might originate from another version of yourself. How to use lucid dreaming to contact your parallel self. Keep a dream journal. Write down your dreams as soon as you wake up. Over time, you'll notice patterns and connections. Perform reality checks throughout the day, like counting your fingers or trying to push your hand through a solid object. This will help you recognize when you're dreaming. Before sleeping, set an intention. Tonight, I will meet my parallel self. Once lucid, look for mirrors, doorways, or portals. These are often symbolic gateways in the dream world. If you encounter a version of yourself, ask them for insight. What should I know? Or what choices led you here? Absorb the experience and try to recall details upon waking. Lucid dreaming allows you to experience life as another version of yourself, offering profound insights about your current path. Tuning into synchronicities. Recognizing the messages. If parallel versions of you exist, then your actions and decisions might occasionally align with theirs, creating synchronicities, meaningful coincidences that feel too precise to ignore. How to recognize synchronicities as messages from your parallel self. Pay attention to repeating numbers. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3. Notice recurring symbols or themes, like seeing the same object, name, or phrase multiple times. Observe if people randomly bring up advice that directly relates to something you're struggling with. Trust your gut feeling. If something feels significant, it probably is. For example, if you suddenly start seeing airplane imagery everywhere and feel a strong urge to travel, it might mean that another version of you has already made a significant journey, and your subconscious is picking up on it. 1. Vivid dreams that feel like memories from another life. Dreams have long been considered windows into the subconscious, but what if they are something more? Many people report experiencing dreams so vivid and emotionally intense that they feel more like memories than mere imagination. Have you ever woken up from a dream feeling like you had just lived another life? One where you had a different career, family, or even a completely altered personality? These types of dreams might not just be random. They could be glimpses into the life of your parallel self. Some researchers and metaphysical thinkers propose that when we sleep, our consciousness is freed from the constraints of our current physical reality, allowing us to tap into the experiences of our alternate versions in the multiverse. This would explain why some dreams feel inexplicably real, or why you may have knowledge in your dream that you don't possess in your waking life. Have you ever had a dream where you fluently spoke a language you've never studied, mastered a skill you've never practiced, or interacted with people who feel familiar but whom you've never met? These could be insights from another version of yourself who has lived a different path and is sending information across dimensions. Furthermore, there are cases where people dream about futuristic cities, historical events they've never studied, or places they later recognize in real life, despite having never visited them before. Some believe these are signs of our consciousness slipping into another reality, even if only for a brief moment. If you start noticing recurring dreams about a specific place or lifestyle, it may be worthwhile to reflect on whether this could be a message from your parallel self, urging you to pay attention to certain choices or paths in your waking life. 2. Déjà vu, the feeling of reliving a moment. One of the most widely reported and mysterious phenomena that might indicate contact with a parallel version of yourself is déjà vu. This eerie sensation of having lived through an experience before, even though logic tells you that it's impossible, is something nearly everyone has encountered at some point in their life. Traditional explanations suggest that déjà vu is simply the brain recognizing a situation that is similar to a past experience. However, what if déjà vu is actually something more profound? Some metaphysical theories propose that déjà vu is a momentary alignment between two versions of yourself across different timelines. Imagine that your parallel self is making a choice at the exact same time as you. And for a brief instant, your realities overlap. This could explain why déjà vu feels like a memory surfacing, even though it shouldn't exist in your current life. Another interpretation suggests that déjà vu could be a form of interdimensional resonance, where experiences from an alternate timeline bleed into your awareness.